Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the All-Star Race for NR2003 Simulation Season. This is how today's event is going to work. There's 2 races today, and there's 1 tonight. These drivers, 20 of which will start in this race, 20 of which will start in the next race, will race for the top 10 spots. The top 10 finishers from these 2 races will move on to the final race tonight, which is the race for the $1 million. Key to today is finish in the top 10, and you will be locked into the All-Star race tonight for a chance to race at $1 million. Starting position was a random draw. That's why these drivers are starting where they are today. It was a draw out of a hat for the crew chief. We're about ready to get going here. We're going to fire the engines and get going on race number 1 of the All-Star race. Just remember, 11th place and back, you are eliminated, and the top 10 will get a chance to race for $1 million. Let's get them fired up and ready to go to race number 1.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines are fired up. Here's how they're going to roll off for race number 1 for the All-Star race tonight. All-Star Shootout race number 1. Allmendinger's crew chief picked him for the first starting position. A lot of heavy hitters in this one. You've got Hamlin and Bell, Larson, Elliott. A lot of big-name drivers. As they roll around here for race number 1. We may not focus on the battle for the lead as much as the battle for 10th position. Pace car pulls in. Green flag in the air. We are racing in Homestead. Tenth place right now is held by the 47. Looks like some 3 wide action there. Larson trying to make it 3 wide. He will. Austin Dillon stuck up on the top. You see Chase Elliott there on the bottom with Denny Hamlin. Daniel Suarez now that final transfer position. Drivers battling extremely hard. Whoa, Allmendinger way up the racetrack. AJ Allmendinger was so far up the racetrack into the marbles. Now we have Kyle Larson, your leader. The battle back here. The 10th position. Denny Hamlin currently holds it, but it looks like he may lose that 10th position here. Tenth position now owned by the 78. Comes William Byron on the bottom side. He's trying to make up some ground. Christopher Bell, he's in the final transfer spot. Cole Custer working on him. Cole Custer now moves into 10th position. Ten laps to go here in race number 1. Big move by William Byron. Not going to work for him this time. Cole Custer still in that final transfer position. But here comes Austin Dillon looking to the inside. Byron up to the top side. Trying to get a run, and he won't get it. 3 wide down the front straightaway. Now Austin Dillon in 10th position. A driver that we didn't expect to be in this type of spot is Kyle Busch. Falling a little bit behind the 8 ball here. As we said before the race started, a lot of heavy hitters in this race. It's going to make it really difficult. Kyle Busch making a move on Denny Hamlin. Looks to the inside. That move will not work. Hamlin now gets underneath the 34. He's trying to make a charge towards Cole Custer. As a team owner, seeing your 2 cars battle it out like this for the final transfer position can be a little nerve-wracking. Of Chase Briscoe battling the 43 and the 34. This is right here is for the final transfer spot. Three laps to go. 4 laps to go, excuse me. 14 in the transfer position. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin working on getting a little closer to that. Kyle Busch dives down into turn number 3. Only 1 position remaining. No change in the top 10, but Kyle Busch would like to make a change. But Denny Hamlin, he might have something else to say about it. We squeezed Eric Jones up. Kyle Busch trying to get that big run off the corner, but Denny Hamlin is gonna be there. 2 laps remaining. Can Kyle Busch make this pass on Chase Briscoe? Looks to the inside down the back straightaway. Down into turn number 3. Kyle Busch trying to make a move. And he's gonna get him. White flag in the air. 1 lap remaining in race number 1. Kyle Busch in the final transfer spot. Down into turn number 3. Briscoe falling behind. Byron with one last move on Briscoe, but Kyle Busch is going to get the last transfer spot, and he will race in the All-Star race later on today. An exciting end to race number 1. The winner of race number 1 was Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, BJ McLeod, big shout out to 78. Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse, Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, Michael McDowell, and Kyle Busch have locked themselves into the All-Star race later on tonight. Race number 2 coming right up. Stick around. We'll be right back with race number 2 to see who the next 10 will be tonight to make our full field of 20 to race for the million. Race number 2 coming up right after this. Welcome back, everybody, for race number 2 to determine who the next 10 drivers who will make the All-Star race for $1 million tonight. As stated in the first race, the starting positions were determined by a random draw, so that's why the drivers are starting where they are. We're going to focus a lot today on the 10th place battle, not necessarily who wins the race, because this race does not pay. Tonight's race is the one that races for $1 million, but we have to find the 20 drivers that are going to race for that $1 million, and that is the whole point of this race. We've got 20 drivers here ready to go racing to see who the next 20 are going to be. We did have a very exciting finish to the first race. Kyle Busch barely making it in to that race. I mean, he was racing really hard for that 10th position. He was able to get it in the closing stages of that race. Are we going to have another exciting finish like that? We're about to find out. Cars come into the restart zone, led by Brad Keselowski. As I said, the battle for 10th is where we're going to focus a lot today. The battle for 10th right now, right around the 42 of Ty Dillon, 19 of Mark Truex Jr. Top lane looks like it's stalled out a little bit. Ty Dillon currently in the 10th position. A couple of Penske teammates battling, trying to get the full force of Penske into the race tonight. Joey Logano has already locked himself in. So now Austin Cindric and Ryan Blaney trying to do the same. Both 2311 cars are in this race. Todd Gilliland now owns that 10th position. But Bubba Wallace putting some pressure on him. .38 still being shown in 10th. Martin Truex Jr. is on the outside looking in. That's kind of a surprise. Truex pretty good here at Homestead. Won a championship in 2017 by winning the race here. So it's kind of unlike Martin Truex Jr. to see him this far out of contention. He's a couple spots away from 10th. And that's where you need to be. But a nice cut down to the bottom of the racetrack. And he's going to start working on Bubba Wallace coming off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Down to the inside. Bubba Wallace is Martin Truex Jr. and he's going to try to go for 2 as he's going to try to make a move on 31 of Justin Haley. And making the move on Haley would get him in the 10th position that he needs to transfer himself into tonight's race. Joe Gibbs, not a lot of representation in tonight's race so far. Toyota as a whole, not much representation. Toyota, as it sits right now, only one car has made the All-Star race for tonight, and that is Kyle Busch. We had mentioned him on the top of the show, that he had raced his way in, but now we have 2 Toyotas in the top 10. Truex is going to be able to get by Todd Gilliland and Alex Bowman and Justin Haley, and that's going to solidify him pretty far into the top 10. Sitting 8th position right now. Him and Kurt Busch, the only 2 Toyotas in the top 10 that will transfer. Alex Bowman in 9th, and Todd Gilliland still holds on to that 10th position. But Gilliland, he's getting worked over. Bubba Wallace down to the inside. He's going to see if he can make the move. Looks like he will clear the 38 of Gilliland and go for the 31 of Justin Haley, and that will put Bubba Wallace in the top 10 right now. Wallace in the top 10. If he can complete this pass on Justin Haley, it would be better for him because this is the battle for a 10. Looking like down the straightaway, Wallace still not clear of the 31, but he might clear him down into turn number 3. He will. Down into turn number 3. Haley way up the racetrack. So Toyota, tough time in race number 1, but race number 2, they've got 3 cars in the top 10. Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron missed out in that first race. Alex Bowman trying to put a 3rd Hendrick Motorsports car into the All-Star race tonight. Bowman currently in 9th. Race is on for 7th. Ryan Blaney versus Martin Truex Jr. Truex looked like he was going to try to make it 3 wide. Dives it down into the corner. He's going to get to the inside of Eric Almirola, and this is going to open up the door for some of these guys that may be outside of the top 10. Justin Haley looking at this as these guys are racing in front of them, but Haley getting pressure from the 51 of Cody Ware. Ryan Blaney falling further and further back. Battling with Bubba Wallace. This is for 10th. Blaney would still be locked in, but Blaney way up the racetrack. That's going to hurt his exit speed. Here comes Justin Haley. Wow, Ryan Blaney way up the racetrack. Something amiss on Bubba Wallace's car. It looks like he got slowed up a little bit. But the 31 now putting pressure on the 12. Looks like we're getting set up for another exciting finish here. As we've got a group of 4 cars battling for the last transfer spot, and Alex Bowman stuck up on the high side right now. He might be the odd one out. We've got 3 laps to go. Justin Haley going to peek to the inside of the 48. The battle is on. Alex Bowman, Justin Haley. Bowman on the high side. He's got Cody Ware coming below. We're going to be coming to 2 laps to go. And Alex Bowman now finds himself on the outside looking in. Does Bowman have enough to try to get by this 31 machine? Where did he use up his stuff? Homestead, Miami, infamous for burning tires. Bowman's still a little too far back to make a move. And it is looking like Justin Haley is going to be the one who's going to get that final transfer spot. He will race for $1 million tonight. Alex Bowman had it. He was in great position all night long, or all day long rather. Did not make it. Justin Haley, your 10th place finisher. Harrison Burton missed the exit pit road there. We've got Keselowski, Ty Dillon, Austin Cindric, Harrison Burton, Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, and Justin Haley. The 10 that will be moving on to race for $1 million tonight. We're going to have that coming right up here in a little while here on Thanks for Trying TV. Thanks for tuning in for race number 2. We've got our 20 that will race for $1 million. Come back in a little while to see who will race off with that $1 million in the back pocket here tonight.